How's this? We're talking tonight about transformation over and over, and we're talking about how you choose it. Do you return to your roots, or do you expand in some other way? And that's the core of what I want to talk about here. Hit it, John. All right, the topic I want to talk about is the end of customer focus. It sounds totally contrary to the way our society is set up right now, but it's the core of what I do with the books I write and the clients I serve. The migration I want to see is from security to adventure. We'll hit that in a second. Or five. All right, 5 quick categories about economics. A cup of coffee, you just take the raw beans. A cup of coffee's worth is about 5 cents worth. Moving through to service economy where somebody named Flo serves it to you at a diner. Starbucks, $2, it's about the destination and where you're gonna have your coffee. Up to this great description where you get a Ralph Nader bumper sticker if it's the right kind. All right, I'm talking about the end of customer focus, but you're always going to have a customer. Service is about focus on the customer, what you do for the customer. The customer pays for the service you provide. In the experience economy, it's about provider. You pay for the time you spend with the provider, with Starbucks. In the transformation economy, you pay for the benefit you receive for the time you spend with the provider. Since 1900, the US GNP has gone from 10% service economy to over 90%. My question is what does that cost us? How have we been trained to think as a result of that precipitous rise? How have they leveraged the economy? And how have they manipulated our thinking? If you go to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the service economy can handle the basic elements of life, security-focused stuff. We spent 100 years learning to move from security as opposed to adventure because that's what the service economy, the dominant voice in our culture, is able to provide. I think of an addiction as trying to meet a higher order need, adventure level stuff with basic security level provisions. It's booze, food, for some of us, sex, natural addictions. And as you pursue those addictions, they provide less and less comfort in return. That's what the service economy has taught us. An illustration, adventure mindset says I'm going to climb that mountain and it's going to hurt. I'm going to do it anyway. Security says don't climb that mountain, you could hurt yourself. That's the mom voice. I say our lives are shaped primarily by how we interact and respond to pain. Same with society, or city deciding how we grow. We have a choice. We can pursue adventure or security. For the last 100 years, we've been taught that pain is bad. We avoid pain at all costs. The leverage for the service economy has been when you hit pain, you need to back away from that. You move back down towards security. To such an extent that even the most mundane things in our lives, we search out an expert. Because what we're afraid of is that we're going to get it wrong and we're going to be embarrassed. And what we're going to end up with is nobody to blame but ourselves because an expert could have told us how to do it. Alright, and experts are everywhere. I can't take my dog for a walk without thinking Caesar Milan doing it the right way. You know? And what happens is we have this migration that we're pursuing away from this scared little infant self up until we hit pain and the expert points at us and says, no, do it this way. And they make us more dependent and smaller when we pursue security. But it's not really just about an adventure, is it? It's about a pursuit of greater selves. And whether or not we agree about a God, we can agree about virtuous fulfillment or redemptive leadership and what we mean to society. That's how we reward ourselves. In our culture right now, we tend to spiral down towards mere survival, and that's hardly success in living. So the question is, how do we learn to plow through the pain or blow through the pain for the sake of adventure? How do you want the mountaintop enough to endure the pain anyway? And the answer is not customer focus. Customers are already scared, are already looking for help, have already been taught to be weak and to look for specialists and experts to help them with everything. The more we focus on the customer, the more we focus on the place where the problem is. The alternative is to pursue adventure. And I say the way that you pursue adventure is to cast vision for virtue. It can be pure aesthetics, it can be community, it can be being the best Indianapolis can be, but that's the virtue. So we've spent 100 years in the service economy and we've learned two things, one bad, one good. The bad is after all this time and all these experts, we've learned that we are truly unhappy worrying about our security. It's not working for us. The good thing is that in this cultural shift, we've learned, we've been trained to look beyond ourselves for answers. So, back to service economy versus transportation, or transformation economy. What the transformation economy can do is call a person out of security into adventure, into higher order needs and meeting those and pursuing those. I say the leverage to do that is virtue. These are some virtue words. You'll see all of the typical, the 7 deadly sins and the reciprocals. What I think is really interesting is that if you look at the stuff that's in the parentheses, that's the culture we live in now. That's how we're marketed to. That's what our entertainment is about. And if you want to change the world, I say what you do is you flip that on its head. People have a homesickness for the other things. An interesting thing, organizations and individuals have to make the same choices. And in the same way that merely staying fed and warm doesn't mean you have a successful life, an organization or a city that merely meets its basic needs can hardly be said to be successful. So, in the service economy, what I want you to look at is where the triangles are oriented right now and where they overlap. Right now, the service economy says, which way are you already heading? We'll follow you there. The experience economy, the Starbucks creating the third place idea, wants to orient you towards them. We'll provide some sort of gravity for you. We'll be big, you come sit here and you'll feel good, you'll have this experience. Transformation economy says, here's this virtue, here's this idea for us to all point at. And so, whether you're moving towards a brand or not, if the brand is moving towards the same virtue as you, there's a mutual reciprocity in that. The triangle with the orange halo, what I'm pointing out with that is that it's going in a different direction entirely, but it's going against the grain. Think about recycling as an example, how much easier it is now that everybody's doing it. So, I say the world will be saved by people whose virtue inspires others to overcome pain. And our folks here in the bottom right corner. That's it. Thank you.